Greetings. This is Arvat McLean of Speak, the Universe Listens. As a very young person, I always felt that I carried the weight of the world on my shoulders, having to make grown-up decisions in order to survive a life marked with physical, sexual, and emotional abuse. While my face was smiling on the outside, on the inside, I always secretly cried and felt miserable. However, over the years, I learned some gems that helped to turn my life around. I now get to live the life of my dreams, filled with love, travel, and wonderment. And I am absolutely passionate about sharing what I have learned with you. If you want to live your best life, tune in each week as I, along with some amazing guests, share these life-changing gems with you. Inspired to be more, do more, have more. Greetings and welcome to today's episode of Speak, the Universe Listens. Today's topic is, how big is your butt? And I have Scott joining me today. How are you, Scott?
I'm doing wonderfully. How about yourself?
I'm doing great.
Great.
Yes. So your butt. We're talking about butts today, right?
We are.
All right. How big is your butt?
It's huge now. But yeah, a lot of times people are having so many butts out here now, and they're thinking, I can do this, but, and sometimes it just, when you hear them talking about it, the butt seems like it's ginormous. It seems like it's something that's just unsurmountable.
Right.
But
But
to actually look at it and to look at it realistically, if they step out and look at it again, they'll realize that the butt really is not that big. It's something that's small, it's more reasonable, it's something they can really get through.
yeah, so it's like a 3-letter word, but it just seems so huge in our minds.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you suggest moving past or shrinking our butts?
Well, one good way is to do a butt flip. That's the flip. You got to just flip it. So let's say I was talking to someone the other day that they said they wanted to start a business. I'm going to start this business, but I don't have the funds to do it right now. So just to flip it and say, I don't have the funds right now, but I'm going to start a business.
Oh, I love that.
And, one of the things with the word but is it erases everything that's said before it. And so if you say the more positive piece first, and then you say the word but, you just erased it.
Okay.
So I'm going to start a business, but you ain't starting a business.
Right.
You ain't starting a business. It's like, if somebody came and said, oh, your outfit looks great, but
You better go change.
it doesn't even matter what comes afterwards. So to do the butt flip, and whatever that piece is that you really choose to accomplish, put that after the butt.
Yeah, so should we practice that? So, a lot of times we say, I want to do this, but I don't have enough time. So if we hear ourselves saying that, then we would say, I'm short on time, but I'm going to do blank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I love the way you even changed that. I don't have enough time to say I'm short of time, and that in itself is just even more empowering.
Right.
Because whatever we speak, the universe is listening, right?
Exactly.
So it's important for us to speak the words in a more empowering way, whether we're saying them out loud or even just thinking them. So that was a great example of doing that butt flip. So whatever the challenge is that someone is having, time, of course, is a big one. I've hear people saying, I would do this, but I got to take care of the kids.
Yeah.
So how can we switch that one?
So I have to take care of the kids, but I'm going to do blank.
Yeah. or I'm doing it. And so either, because what happens there is that whatever that end piece is, you're making that statement. I am. I am is powerful.
Right.
And so whatever you say behind that I am is that's what's actually taking place.
And to me, it sounds a little bit like switching. A butt flip is like switching from being interested in doing something to being committed to doing something. So you're like,
Right.
I want to start a business, but blank. So you're interested in it, but you're not committed.
True.
But if you're like, I don't have the funds, but I'm going to start a business, that's the commitment. Like, I'm committed to starting this business.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. 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 So like, so just much more empowering, and you just even feel better when you do it that way.
Yeah.
And whatever the butt is, however it appears, however big it appears to be, do the butt flip, and it minimizes it so quickly, and keeps you moving in a stronger direction.
Yep.
And the other thing is that when people are looking at their butts, in their mind, they think it's really large, and it's always larger in their mind than what it is. But to just be able to step back and look at it for the reality that it really has, and you understand it is not big.
Right.
Is that it typically is nothing. I talked with someone, for some reason I'm talking to a lot of people lately that want to start businesses. And so a young lady yesterday was talking about she wanted to start a business, but she needed to get a space first.
Okay.
And before she can get to space, she needed to do this, and then she needed to do that. So it's like there was a series of stuff. And so it's this huge piece in there for why she couldn't start her business. We practiced the butt flip a bit. And so she then said, I'd like to get a space, but I'm going to start my business. And it was just so much simpler at that point.
Right.
And so at that point, we started having some conversation around how could she start a business now?
Right.
Rather than waiting for these buts to be resolved. So at that point, she was like, okay, I can do it online. I can do, just doing different things. And so when you do that butt flip, it allows your mind to open up as well.
Yep.
And, the universe is just unlimited. There's no it got to be done this way, this way, this way. And so when we've removed that butt or put the butt on the other side of it like that, we are opening ourselves up to all the unlimited possibilities of the universe.
Yeah, because like you say, if you put that limit on it, it really closes your mind. It's like no ideals can flow in because you've already said, I can't do it.
Exactly.
But once you say, I'm going to do it, then that allows for things to just flow, like all types of ideas just pop into your head.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just telling someone a story, and I hope I wasn't sharing it on here, because if I was, I'm about to share it again.
You don't mind hearing it twice, right? You don't mind. Come on.
Well, yeah, so it was Wayne Dyer was telling a story about how one time he was delayed, like his flight was delayed, and I think it might have even been canceled, but at any rate, it was no way that now he was going to make it to his conference that he needed to be at the next morning. And so he went to the flight attendant and the desk, and he was asking, how can I get to where I'm trying to go? Let's just say Texas. How can I get to Texas? I need to be there by 9:00 tomorrow morning. And she's like, it's not possible. And he's like, basically, can you check? And she's like, sir, it's not possible that you can get there at this time. You're not going to be able to get there by tomorrow at 9. And so he said, no offense to you, but is there somebody else I can talk to
Beautiful.
Who does not believe is impossible? And so she's like, okay. So she gets someone else. And so he explains, and he's like, and I need someone who does not think it's impossible for this to happen. And so the two of them worked together, and they were able to find him a flight, and he was able to get there the next day as scheduled. And then I had that same experience happen to me, because I was trying to get to Dubai or somewhere like that, but I was in Richmond. and I had to take a flight from Richmond to somewhere, and then from there catch a flight to Dubai. Well, the Richmond flight was canceled, so there's no more flights leaving Richmond to go to that place that I need to get to catch the flight to Dubai. And so the flight attendant is like, go home, come back tomorrow. And so I'm like, I'm feeling real bummed out because I want to get on my trip or whatever. And so I called my travel agent, and my travel agent was like, no, this can be done or whatever. And she, whoop, whoop, whoop. And next thing you know, she had me a flight. And so I took it back to the agent, and I was like, listen, my travel agent said all I need to do is do this, this, and this. And they're like, oh, okay. And so I didn't go to the city that I was supposed to go to. I went to a different city and made a connection that way. But it's just being open to the possibilities. And when you got that but, that's a shutdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. And, this the way you talked about Wayne Dyer saying, let me talk to somebody that doesn't believe this is impossible. Just kind of reminds me of sometimes I'm talking to people that are trying to clear up their credit, and so that's what the piece they're working on. So that's their but I'm gonna buy a house, but my credit's bad, and sometimes they might have old collections or judgments sitting out there with a big balance on it. And so I always advise them to go in and call the creditor and ask to do a settlement. Maybe 25 cents on the dollar, so it's a $1,000 bill, to call them up and say, I can pay $250 right now. And, when you call in, if the first person that answers the phone and you present this offer to them, if they laugh at you, if they're really quick to say no, then you don't have the right person.
Okay.
Right? That's not the decision maker.
Okay.
And so in that point, you just ask them if there was someone that could say yes, who would that be?
Right.
And how do I talk to them? And it's very interesting. And by the time they do that, maybe 2 or 3 times, you finally get to a person that's able to say yes.
Yeah.
So it's really that kind of same process there.
Yes. Yeah. And that's so, we might be going on a tangent here, but that's such an important point. Because a lot of times we'll go into situations and we're quickly told no. And because we're told no, we shut it down. Like, they say we can't do it. And just to be willing to take that next step, like, okay, you say no, but is it somebody else who can say yes? Like, who has the power to tell me yes? That's who I want to talk to.
Exactly. Just to keep going, and as you were saying that, I'm kind of flashing back with Colonel Sanders when he went to 1,000 places trying to sell his chicken recipe. At 70-something years old, right?
Wow.
70-something years old, traveling around knocking on doors, like, hey, you want to buy this chicken recipe? But finally, after 1,000 no's, he gets a yes. Yeah. And now it's all the way across the country.
Yes.
So we have, when we flip that but, because sometimes people will say, well, I want to sell my chicken recipe, but won't nobody buy it. When we flip that, nobody's bought it yet, but I'm going to sell my chicken recipe. Right. So now you kind of, like you said, you're putting that commitment to it so that you're going to move forward and make sure it happens.
Regardless.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so a lot of times, I think the but is fear.
True.
Yeah. So any suggestions on handling it when it's fear?
Still, I think that same process works. And I think also just remembering who you are. And I'm getting this flash right now, and hopefully I can pull it all back together. But remember years ago, Mom had a little necklace with that little mustard seed in it. And, and that's the saying in the Bible, and I forget the exact words, but if you have faith the size of the mustard seed, you can say to that mountain to move, and it'll move. And what I get from that is that our faith only has to be tiny. I mean, the mustard seed is like that big. So if you just got that small amount of faith, lean on that as often as you can, and speak to your mountain, speak to your issues, speak to your fear, speak it in a way where you're saying it in an empowering way. So when you're using that butt flip, so you're making that commitment, putting the I am with it, you're committing to it on a whole nother level. And it's probably not a scenario where you kind of get rid of the fear, but it'll empower you enough to move forward in spite of the fear.
Right.
You know, and sometimes fear can be a great thing. I mean, if you think about, you know, when you get ready to go dive into the water or something, you know, you get that little fear, you know, your heart start beating, you know, and that fear is what gets you to, you know, to feel more energy with it, so you can actually take that dive. And you just feel, by the time you're finished it, you're going to feel so much stronger, feel so much better anyway. You know, so if they are feeling the fear, find the faith, find that piece of hope, that piece of belief that's in there. You know, connect to even a higher power, a higher strength. You know, they say with you know, all things are possible with Christ that strengthens me. You know, so to be able to just connect to that higher strength and to move forward anyway, take some level of a step toward it anyway.
Right. And it's interesting what you were saying about the lady who had all the buts about starting a business, because that reminds me of myself. Like, sometimes if it's something I don't want to do, I'm procrastinating or something like that, I'll say, in order to do that, first I gotta get up. Then I gotta put on my shirt. Then I gotta put on my shoes. Then I gotta go downstairs. Then and it's like you laying out every single little itty bitty teeny step to it, and it sounds like it's about 20 steps or 200 steps sometimes, when really only thing you had to say was, I gotta go do blank thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
But it's like, a lot of times we put so many things in front of whatever the thing is, you know, and so I guess, like you said, the butt can be so big, but we're making it big because we're putting so many, so we're hinging it on so many different things or whatever, when really we could collapse it all and just be like, yeah, I got to get up and go do it.
Because, you know, if you go into the party, you just say, oh, I'm going to party tonight.
I'm going to the party.
Yeah, you might not think about all the little stops. Yeah.
I got to go to the store. I got to get some earrings. I got to buy some shoes, you know. You don't have to think about all that.
Yeah, that's just a part of it. It's part of the process. So, so that butt can get huge when you're doing it that way. And so that would be another piece, I suppose, is just to kind of look at it and to minimize the pieces. And I think also when you do the butt flip, it does that.
It does that. It wipes out everything in front of it. Yeah. And then I think the other thing is important, that what you said was that you were there to talk this particular person through it, and y'all practiced doing the flips. And also the whole concept of there being somebody else that can see that your butt isn't as big as you think it is.
Yes.
And so just the whole idea of having support and having people who believe in you and believe in your possibilities.
Right.
So just being sure to surround yourself with people that can see your potentials.
You know, I imagine it's probably somebody out there that's just heard that and they're saying, well, but I ain't got nobody like that. You know, that's the butt. You know, and if that's your case, know that we believe in you, and take your time to reconnect with information like this on a regular basis, and, you know, find other sources of inspiration, find different things that's going to help, you know, keep you motivated, help keep you, you know, thinking in that right direction, because sometimes we are surrounded with energies or people that are going to spiral our energy downward. And so we have to sometimes just, whether we're reading the proper books or watching the proper podcasts or just whatever it is, we have to reach out sometimes and grab some extra positivity to keep us moving in the right direction.
Exactly.
So that butt is dealt with to the small.
Definitely. So I love this conversation. How big is your butt? So just doing the butt flip, surrounding yourself with good people, surrounding yourself with good energy, books, resources. Yeah.
A lot of stuff out there.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on today.
My pleasure.
All right.
My pleasure.
Thank you. All right, guys, I enjoyed talking about how big is your butt. So let's work on making our butts as small as possible. Until next time, this is Arvat and Scott.
Enjoy.